Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whatever it may be for you lot. I hope you're all well. Let's have a look at chainsaws, shall we? I've got to have a look at this chainsaw, get this going today. I've got to go around and cut a tree down or something for my uncle. Because, I'm not really sure I don't really know what they phone up. Can you come round and cut a tree down? Oh, okay. So, I did put a new chain on this little chainsaw. But then I went round to when I was helping my brother-in-law. Who remembers when I was helping my brother-in-law do that wall? I did a little bit of a video on it where I collected all the bricks and things. And then they decided they didn't want the wall anymore, so it's like half built. Went round there and I cut some tree down. But what happened was I hit a bloody... it was like... it was concrete. Yeah, man, I was cutting along and a bit of tree and there was a bit of concrete fence behind it. And so my teeth are a bit numb now. And God knows, I have got a sharpener, but I don't know where it is. And the last time my dad sharpened the other chain for me because he's got a sharpener and he knows where it is. But my teeth are a bit dull, even though it's a brand spanking new chain. I was a bit disappointed about that, but there you go. That's life and you can't help it. But let's see if we can get it running. This is a very temperamental chainsaw. It's from the 1980s at some point. It did say on it actually. 1984. We can read that there. 1984. Fabrication 1984. There we go. So it can be temperamental. I've cut down some bloody big trees with it before in the past, and it has got hot and overheated, etc. So it's not the best. But let's see if we can get it running. I've also got another little job I've got to do, but Jorge's outside. And I don't know, I'm not looking forward to it with old Jorge out there. Got to put the exhaust back on the old Land Rover because it fell off last night. But with Jorge out there, I might get a bit damp. I don't know, let's see what we got. I'm not holding out, like I say, because it's a bit temperamental this. And what happens is, pull the old choke out. What happens is it just don't like to start if you leave it for quite a long time. So we'll try and see if we can get it going on its own. I don't think it is actually gonna like it. Sometimes what you have to do with this old chainsaw, now this, you know, it's a prime example, and you shouldn't use any type of starting fluid, but you have to sometimes with this old one because it's probably had it in the past. You haven't got any petrol in it. I've got a bit. I'll say that a bit enough. So this particular one, hasn't actually got a primer bulb, right? All it's got is a choke, so you can't prime it in any way. And as I say, it's very temperamental. Once it's going, it's alright. As a lot of them are. always work with that stop switch, it's a bit dicky. Anyway, the real test, like I say, usually once you've got it up and running, it's all right. So let's have a look, see now what happens. The stop switch was still on. Or would you say it's off? I mean, I don't know. What would you say? Now, for those of you that might be like, well, I've got a lawnmower, or I've got a chainsaw, or I've got an engine where the stop switch don't work. I mean, how do I stop it? Just pull the choke out, dudes. Watch this. I have about to do it one hand. Yeah? Once the engine's warm, some engines will run on the choke when they're hot, but, you know, hit and miss, it's usually the way it's tuned. But if your stop switch ain't working and you can't get to the spark plug to take it off, just pull the choke out and choke it. Lovely job. That actually cut alright, that weren't too bad considering this wood on the end of it's all wet and rotten. So it gets drier as it goes in. It's just a bit of old kitchen worktop, that is. That didn't cut too bad. I reckon that'll be enough to cut a few logs up. Lovely. Oh well, I have to go and put the exhaust back on the car. Oh, right. Bloody wet under here. But the exhaust keeps falling off, the hanger keeps coming off. So I'm going to try and cable tie it on. Because it an half rattle because it makes it rattle up there. It ain't looking good under here. I've got to do a bit of work on here, I think, throughout the summer, because it ain't looking good at all. I've got numerous power steering leaks, I think, and they're expecting us to go on a 3-hour trip. Bloody hell, I'm not looking forward to it, I tell you. Anyway, let's get this cable tie on the way. See if we can get this stayed up there. There goes the rag and bone man. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. That's the rag and bone man, that is. Rag and bone man. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get that to work very well. Tell the truth. Might need a longer cable tie. Let's see if we can put two of these together. It's a tricky old situation. When the summer comes, I'll have a proper look at it. I know why it's done it. I know full well why it's doing this. But for now, and this wind and this rain, I don't want to be fanning around too much. It's not going to stay there really. I wonder. Should have done that really. Oh well. I'll put that through there for now. There you go. That should keep that nice and tight. There you go. Perfect. Love it, eh? No more rattling. Time to go indoors. Get out of the way of Jorge. Do you know one of the weird things, right, that I don't get, right? You associate old people, or people of the older generation, you associate them as being calm and relaxed, don't you, right? Well, on that side over there, right, I've got a couple, a man and a husband and wife. They're in their 90s, right? And over that side, I've got a grumpy old bloke who's, I think he's late 70s, mid to late 70s, right? They all slam doors. What's it all about? Literally, like, they open their front door, their back door, and it's bang! And you're like, and you think to yourself, there's no need for that. You're supposed to be old, calm and relaxed. And that door's just open by itself. Honestly though, the way that you should close the door like that, alright, open it, close it. Yeah? But these people, you hear them, they go, and when they close it, they go. Doesn't matter what door it is, that's what they do. I can't understand it. I mean, fair enough, it's their doors, they want to slam them, they can slam them, but you associate old people just calm and relaxed, you know, they've been past their hectic time in life. So now they're all just on their pension, you know, moseying around, doing whatever they want to do, calm and relaxed, watching TV and all that stuff. But they all slam doors, man. What's it all about? And there's nothing wrong with their doors. Because some people, you know, some of you lot are going to think, well, they might have something wrong with their door, so they've got to slam it. For one, if they've got something wrong with their door, they need to fix it. But two, if you slam a door, especially those PVC doors, front doors, back doors, PVC ones, when you slam them, that's when they become, they all sort of go loose and mess up, and then you have to slam them. Look at this mess down here now, eh? Got to have a bit of a clean up. We have to crack out the old Henry. You know, I was talking about starting fluid. I think I did a video on it a few years back. But about why you shouldn't really use starting fluid unless you can really help it. Because, you know, I don't know the true extent. I've never taken an engine apart that's been excessively started with starting fluid. But I've heard people say that it wears the bores out and things. And I can understand how that would happen, because all starting fluid is an extremely flammable liquid. Extreme engine start is a mixture of volatile aromatics which ensure initial firing even under Arctic conditions. What does that say there? Engine start contains upper cylinder lubricant. This one's got lubricant in it. The thing is, it's a bit like heroin for an engine, because if you start an engine with starting fluid and you keep doing it, you will find that it won't want to start on its own again. Even it could be a nice hot day and it'll be difficult to start after a while. You know, you get farmers, you know, machine drivers or whoever, lorry drivers with their lorries or whatever, and in the winter, not so much with these new ones, new engines, they just seem to fire up no matter what, unless you live in Canada or something, you know, it's really cold probably, but they've you know, started their tractors and things, the farmers and all that, with starting fluid in the winter every time it's cold. Then they begin to not want to start at all, and it's like a drug for an engine, you know. Once you start it on it, it's going to get addicted to it, and a lot of people think, well, it's only a piece of metal. How can that be addicted to anything? It's an engine is metal. It doesn't have feelings, it doesn't have a brain, doesn't have anything in it, it's just metal. How can that be addicted? Well, my friends, it can. It's the same if you've got an engine and it's used for not really any extensive purposes, you know. It's not really put under much of a load for all of its life. It won't have as much power as exactly the same engine that's always worked really hard. Yeah, working an engine hard is better than not working it hard at all. Yeah. A lot of people think, oh, I'm not going to do that because it'll work the engine too hard. Well, not at all. It's the opposite way around. You want to work an engine nice and hard. Keep it going. Keep it good. A good engine will be one that's worked hard. It's always advisable to avoid using engine start on a good engine if possible, but with this chainsaw, it's just the way that it is. I don't know whether it was ever started, but it's a small engine. We're talking about big engines. Small engines like this don't really matter as much. I've messed around with the carb on this a lot, because I think what happens is, well, I know what happens. What happens is, if you leave it for like a couple of weeks, the petrol, because there's no priming bulb on it, the petrol goes back, seeps out of the tube and everything, and yeah, it's just difficult to get it back up there. I mean, you can be pulling it and pulling it and pulling it for ages. I mean, so what I usually do is I just dribble a bit of petrol. I don't always use starting fluid, but this is what I've got to hand. But if I've got a bit of petrol, I just dribble it in the carb there, and the petrol gives it a head start. Putting petrol in there's not a problem. It's starting fluid that's the trouble, because it's such an explosive bang. So you can dribble a bit of petrol in there, no trouble at all, but I didn't have any of that to hand, so starting fluid it is. But yeah, tricky old life really.